What's up, everybody? This is Kieran Reese, otherwise known as the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G, and I'm here to talk about something that's been kind of contentious. The Last of Us. Namely, the remake of The Last of Us, now known as Last of Us Part 1, which, gotta say, I really like that naming. And it's kind of been going all over the internet. People have been getting upset, people have been defending it. It's already caused quite a bit of contention. And I'm here, unlike the vast majority of people, to speak in defense of this remake. And let me explain why. The main issues that people have with the remake are pretty simple. One, they think it doesn't need to be remade, that The Last of Us remake or The Last of Us Remaster is already more than good enough. Two, they think that it's overpriced at $70. And three, they think that the graphics aren't that good. Okay. So, to this I say, number one, let's tackle these points in order. Does it need to be remade? No, it doesn't. What game needs to be remade? What game has to have a remake? The answer, absolutely none. There's not a game where this needs a remake. I mean, sure, there are games, some games need it more than, some games that would benefit from it more than others, but that doesn't mean that they need it. You know, I mean, by that standard, it's just like anything. Another point that they made is that resources from this remake could have gone to other games. No, they wouldn't. I understand there are all these games that you wish that Sony was remaking more, or what the fuck ever, but you think if they didn't remake The Last of Us that those would go towards those games? No, they wouldn't. The only reason they greenlit those resources, millions and millions of dollars, is because The Last of Us has a proven track record. Now, moving on to another point, you know, that it doesn't need, that the remaster is perfectly good, and therefore, what's the point of doing another version of the game? Okay. Yeah. The remaster, as you can clearly see from the game footage here, does still look good. But to say that it's not dated, come on, it's a 2013 game. Literally, 2 console generations have fucking passed since then. You cannot look at The Last of Us and tell me the graphics aren't dated. They fucking are. I mean, I love The Last of Us. They're dated. Okay? And then there are people saying, "Oh, you know, the remake doesn't look as good." That is some shit. Get that out of my court. Get that out of my office, okay? Anyone who looks at pictures of The Last of Us remake and thinks it doesn't look better, you're just blind. I mean, it objectively looks better. You can think, "Oh, it doesn't need to be there," okay? Taking one look at the graphics, it looks objectively better. And I almost feel like people are doing this to try and take the piss out of the game. Because in any other situation where they were remaking a game, people would look at it and say, "Oh, this looks a lot better," okay? But now for this one, if they say it looks better, then they have to admit that it's needed. And I guess they don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, let me bring up a radical concept, okay? If you don't like The Last of Us, if you don't like the remake, I should say, then just keep fucking walking. You don't have to play it. You don't have to be interested in it. I'm not seeing people saying, "No, it's not for me," moving on. People are literally pissing on anyone who gets excited about it. "Well, you're just a stupid idiot. You're just making the problem worse. You're just doing this." So it's not like, well, it's not good enough that I don't like it, that I'm not going to play it. I'm not just vocal about not liking it, because everybody has a right to be. I'm going to shit on you for liking it and say you're a piece of shit. I'm going to attack you as a person and say that you're a sheeple. Just grow up. Grow up. Just stop it. Okay? And then we come to the price. Now, I can kind of see where some people are skeptical about the price. But I pretty much expected it was going to be the full $70. And the reason for that is simple. This is a top-to-bottom remake. Every single fucking asset, every texture, every wall, every bit of lighting was redone. And knowing Naughty Dog, They redid it to the 10th degree. Naughty Dog is never known for putting out subpar graphics. Okay? So, making this game was not cheap. Making this game was not a fucking budget title. Honestly, knowing Naughty Dog's commitment to high quality and knowing how good the graphics are, making this game probably cost what it was to make most brand new games today. So, if they're spending new game money to make this, having to generate all these assets, making it state-of-the-art, this is not, there's some remakes that come out and it's like, this looks better than the original, but it's still by today's standards. Like, yeah, it's like, man, this remake looks way better than the original game, but it still doesn't look as good as most games that were released today. This is not the fucking case. This is literally cutting edge. It's PS5 only, and it looks like it. So why would you expect them to not give you new game price when they're spending new game money to make this? And about the $70, we can get into this all day. I can understand why people are pissed off, and I can kind of see where Sony's being a little bit dickish and taking advantage of them by making every single fucking game they make $70. That's a Sony problem, though. That's not really a Naughty Dog problem. That's not really a Last of Us problem. That's a Sony problem. Because Microsoft's not doing that shit. But ultimately, I expected it because it's a Sony first-party game, so they're going to charge you $70. And I will make this. This is something that I thought of that's kind of weird. In 2014, no, I'm sorry. Let me go back a little bit further. In 2013, September, I think, of 2013, about 10 years ago, they made The Last of Us. It sold for $60. Okay, there you go. Sold a lot. In 2014, about a year later, and I think it was like the summer of 2014, so I don't even think it was a full year. I think it was like 7 or 8 months later. They remastered The Last of Us for PS4. Guess what they charged for it? $60. Now this remaster was the definition of a fucking remaster. It included better textures, better lighting here and there, some better character models, but it was very much on the bones of a PS3 game. Okay? It ran at a higher resolution, it ran at a higher frame rate, it had better lighting and shadows, but it was still the bones of a PS4 game, and it's what we would consider to be an upgrade now. Okay? People paid $60 for that. And they gladly did it. Okay? Now, in 2022, they're doing a fucking remake. It's a top-to-bottom remake, not just, slightly better resolution, slightly better graphics, just literally every single bit of this fucking game rebuilt from the ground up. For $70, they're only charging $10 more for a full fucking remake, and that's where we draw the line? I don't understand. Like, the remaster was $60. It was full price, and nobody bitched about that. But a full remake being full price, that's too much? So the remaster can be full price, but the remake can't be? Even though the remake takes like 10 times the amount of fucking effort? Then there's the fact that there was Demon's Souls Remake. I love Demon's Souls Remake. I pre-ordered that fucker before it launched. It was the reason why I got a PS5. I still play it all the time. I played it before making this video. It's fucking amazing. Guess what? It launched at $70. And it's a remake. And it's a top-to-bottom graphical remake. Okay? So... And Demon's Souls Remake is only a couple years older than The Last of Us. It's only 4 years older. Okay? It's the same console generation. So, can somebody please explain to me the double standard where it's okay to remake Demon's Souls and charge $70 for it, and that's a remake of a PS3 game, but it's not okay to remake The Last of Us and charge $70 for it, and that's a remake of a PS3 game? They're both PS3 games. They're both Sony games. They're both $70. They're both remakes, but one is okay and the other is bullshit. Explain this to me. I'd like to know. I'm a little bit congested. I apologize. But even then, okay. They're gonna make gameplay tweaks. They've straight up already said they're going to modernize the gameplay and introduce shit from The Last of Us 2. So everyone who's just like, oh, this is just graphics. No, they're updating and modernizing the gameplay. And from what people are hearing about pre-orders, looks like they're bringing the skill trees and shit from The Last of Us 2 into it. So no, they're actually modernizing the gameplay, to the extent of which we don't know, because we have yet to see full-on gameplay. We saw the trailer. But we now know that it's not just a graphical update. They're also modernizing, tweaking the gameplay, and adding new shit to it. So it's a gameplay enhancement, and it's a graphical enhancement. Okay? And it's like I said, you are entitled to your fucking opinion. You are entitled to not like it. But these people are like, you're a piece of shit if you like it. I fucking hate that you like it. You know, every time I saw anyone posting about The Last of Us and getting excited about it, okay? Somebody would come along and beat them. It wasn't even like somebody debating it. It was somebody saying, I'm so excited for this. And then, well, fuck you. Is it really worth harassing and bullying somebody online for? Over a fucking remake? If you don't like it, just go about your day. Keep walking. I mean, you know? And another thing people have mentioned is that this is coming to PC. And that might actually be one of the main reasons for a remake. People have wanted The Last of Us to be on PC for ages, since it released. But see, here's the thing. PS3 is ridiculously hard to fucking emulate for. And to port. Naughty Dog even admitted to having troubles getting The Last of Us to run on PS4 when they remastered it, and said that it took ages because PS3 is so uniquely coded, it's super hard to work with on a modern setup. Now, there were lots of games that were cross-gen, or cross-platform, PS3 and 360. Those aren't bad because those usually use the 360 version as a base, and then alter the code for PS3. But when you have a game like The Last of Us that was specifically coded to take unique advantage of PS3, it becomes really fucking difficult. Hell, the best emulator known to mankind on the best, strongest computers cannot run The Last of Us original version at a solid frame rate. I just saw a video like last year where they're like, oh, well, now we just got it basically running at almost 30 frames a second, and that's 720p. Okay? So, it's entirely possible that this literally only exists, this remake only exists because they wanted a PC version of Last of Us. And it's just not optimized for it. And coding a PC version of The Last of Us from the PS3 hardware will be a fucking nightmare. It is entirely possible that that's the reason. You know? And I think that's why the PC crowd is like slightly more enthusiastic about this, because they've never had a chance to play The Last of Us. And if they did, it was emulating it where it ran unbelievably shitty. So, like, to play a modern PC version, a lot of people are excited about that, even if it's not coming. I would say it's probably going to come next year or the year after that. Sony likes to give these games a wide berth, so that they're still, still have a really big period of console exclusivity. Which is wise, because their exclusives are the main reason people buy Sony systems, so they don't want to give everything away to the competitor, to the PC. Otherwise, like, why would I buy a PS4 or PS5 when I could just buy a PC? But Last of Us is one of my all-time favorite games. I fucking love The Last of Us. I think it's one of the greatest games ever made. So, if you tell me, hey, we're going to take this game that you already love, and we're going to remake it to have way better graphics, and then we're going to update the gameplay to be way better, I'm like, wow, You're taking this game I already love and you're making it way better? Fuck me. I'm in. So, yeah, I'm down for this. I'm really down for this. And there are also people who act like they remastered it yesterday. I hate to break this to you, but newsflash. They remastered The Last of Us in 2014. It's been 8 years. Maybe if they fucking remastered it last year and now they're remaking it this year, be like, that's kind of ridiculous. It's been almost a decade since the remaster came out. It's been almost a decade since the remaster came out. I think 8 years is a suitable gap. If you make a game and then remake it 8 years later, I'm like, okay, you know. And once again, not one, but 2 console generations have come and went. We're going from PS3 to PS5. They've already confirmed this is not coming to PS4. This is not cross-gen. This is PS5 or go home. So, 2 console generations. I think that's long enough. Hell, even now, there are fucking remasters that come out that are basically fucking, just full-on fucking, remasters. Dude, they fucking re-released Kingdoms of Amalur. Full priced. People didn't bitch about that. They fucking remastered Final Fantasy 12. Full price. People didn't bitch about that. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. Just over and over again, dude. Like, there's so many examples where I could show you this game. Like, they said, well, it's the fact that it was remastered and then it was remade. Like, you already remastered it, okay? I'll give you an example. Halo, the Master Chief Collection. They remade Halo 1 in 2011 for 360, and then in 2014, they remastered it for Master Chief Collection. You don't see people bitching about that, even though that was only a 3-year gap between a remake and then another remaster of a remake. I honestly think it's just people trying to be fucking hateful and people trying to do that. I feel like The Last of Us 2 changed things. I feel like before The Last of Us 2 came out, whether you like The Last of Us 2 or not is out of the question. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that I personally feel like the Last of Us fan base was incredibly wholesome, and I feel like once The Last of Us 2 came out, it splintered it right down the middle, and now there's this insanely fucking loud, toxic fan base where I feel like they will literally dog anything that the fan base fucking does. Anything that Naughty Dog does now, they'll hate on. And I'm really in the middle, dude. I think The Last of Us 2 made some critical mistakes, but I also think The Last of Us 2 is an absolutely amazing game in other respects. I think The Last of Us 2's gameplay is fucking awesome. Like, The Last of Us 2 gameplay is fucking dope. I struggle to find anyone, it's really hard to complain about the gameplay of The Last of Us 2. And the production values, and then there's even moments of the story that's really good. So I sit in the middle. I'm not going to say they did Joel right. They didn't. That was a major fuck-up, and it does kind of sour the game a little bit. But there's so much The Last of Us 2 does good. So I sit square in the middle. I don't hate the game, and I'm not sitting there saying, that's the best fucking game ever made, ever. I think that for many reasons, this game is a win. I think that, one, it's proven commodity. People said, nobody's interested in this. Backlash, everywhere you look, everyone's saying it's not worth it, it's not worth it. They had a $100 collectible version of the game. They had all these bonuses and statues, and they had a lot of them sold out in like an hour. So obviously the interest is there. And people are bitching about this game, they're being vocal about this game, they're saying, fuck this game, fuck this remake. This game is going to sell numbers. It's going to sell really well. But if you look at it, this is a win-win. For one, they're now doing the HBO show of Last of Us. And now people's eyes are on the first game again because of this. So this is a chance to capitalize on the success of the show, which is probably coming out soon. For two, they want to bring Last of Us to PC, and bringing the first game to PC is a fucking nightmare because of how it was coded for PS3. So it's much easier to just remake it. So that's what they're doing. And for three, The Last of Us 2, whether you like it or not, I'm not getting into that fucking debate, was extremely divisive. So Naughty Dog's like, hey, let's go back to the first game where we were just universally beloved. You remember that? And they have more of that. And as I've stated, I'm down. I'm so down. I'm so fucking down. Last of Us 1 is one of my favorite games, and I fucking love it. You're going to see me go through it. You're going to see me streaming. I'm streaming through it. That's where I got the footage. Because I want the original game to be in my mind when I go and play the remake. I'm going to be playing the remake day one. I'm going to have that shit pre-ordered. I'm going to get it. And nobody's going to piss on my parade. Say you don't like it. See if I fucking care. But I'm still saying that the vitriol that people have online is really shitty, and it should stop. That being said, I would really like to hear constructive, hear the words, constructive opinions about it. If you can be polite, come on, comment, and tell me what you think. And you know, I put a lot of time and thought into this video thinking about what I was going to say and how I was going to say it, and I'm trying to make this sound in a way that was good. Even if you don't agree with me, my goal is to make my argument so sound that you can at least agree that I made good points. So a like, a comment, and a subscribe would go a long way. That being said, I am Kieran Reese, the obsessive compulsive gamer of the O.C.G, and I am out, and I wish you have a great day.